Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my dear fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Welcome to the meeting. Please keep yourself in silent mode until or unless it's your turn to speak. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self confidence and personal growth. I request to start this meeting with a huge round of applause so we can proceed with the energetic meeting. Over to President. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shukrit, for giving us a warm welcome. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to Toastmasters for Professionals. This morning, or this evening, or this afternoon, we will be treated to a wonderful, wonderful speakathon of great and accomplished speakers. I can't wait to hear every speaker and every evaluator today. Before we go ahead, I would like to just mention a few announcements. To you, our Toastmasters and guests, I'd like to encourage you, our members, to kindly ensure that you pay up your dues. We have only 2 days to get our club rewards for each of those of you who will be able to pay up. And that's also a reminder to myself. But for those of you who are visiting us for the very first time, if you would like to make Toastmasters for Professionals your home, you are welcome to pay your dues and reach out to our Vice President membership. She has backer. He will help you get to know how to get to the ropes to becoming a member of Toastmasters for Professionals. And now, without further ado, I'd like to invite our Toastmaster of the day to take on the meeting. Welcome. She has you muted.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Catherine, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I welcome you all to our special meet today. I would just like to start by sharing the Toastmaster mission in a different word. We all
She has frozen. Would you like to restart yourself out and into the meeting? I do not know if he's hearing me. Let me just reach him out. Kindly be patient, Toastmasters. He should be able to come in again.
really sorry. I have no idea when I got disconnected. So I was just trying to say that a Toastmaster gives us an opportunity to grow in our communication and leadership skills. And how that is done, there are a lot of pathways based on each member's personal aspiration or where they want to be in their personal growth journey. There are different pathways to different set of objectives. We'll talk about those objectives in a bit. The agenda of today's meet is to have projects presented from each of these pathways, and we will see how those pathways are encouraging the member to achieve their personal goals. And the idea is that every pathway has got 5 different levels. It is similar to that. Whenever you're getting prescribed a medicine, when you need to make sure that you take up the entire course, then only you see the benefit. Likewise, each of these pathways have 5 levels, and it is highly recommended that in order to achieve your goal, one has to go through the entire process. We have around 5 speeches scheduled for today. They will be between 5 and 7 minutes, and the second speeches, that is for higher levels, that is between 10 and 12 minutes. So, I'll just go ahead and introduce the timer for the day to explain his roles and how he will be notifying us with respect to the timing constraints. GJ, can you just go ahead and explain your role?
Absolutely. Hello, Toastmasters and guests. Adequate timing enhances every speech. The timer helps speakers manage their time by showing the timing cards. When the speaker has completed the minimum speaking time, I will show the green card. When the speaker has little time remaining, I will show the yellow card. When the speaker has no more time remaining, I will show the red card. I begin timing when the speaker starts talking. I look forward to the speeches. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Shihas.
Thank you, Toastmaster Guillermo, and let's go ahead and get started with our first speech. Our first speech will be delivered by DTM Eliza, and evaluating distinguished Toastmaster Eliza's speech is Toastmaster Vrinda. Before I hand over the control to Vrinda, I would just like to let everyone know that I will be just calling upon the evaluator first, and it is the role of the evaluator to introduce the speaker and let the control or pass on the control to the speaker. So DTM Eliza would be presenting us a project from strategic relationship. And what does strategic relationship do? The projects on this path focuses on understanding diversity, building personal and professional connection with variety of people, and developing a public relationship strategy. Now I would like to introduce or call upon to her evaluator, Toastmaster Vrinda, to explain about the project objectives and let the speaker continue with the project. Toastmaster Vrinda.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shihas. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure and honor to evaluate a speech by DTM Eliza. The pathway is strategic relationships, level 3. The project is connect with storytelling. She would be narrating a story, and the purpose of this project is to communicate via storytelling. So I would be looking forward to how she weaves in a story and talks about her concept or whatever information she is sharing. All the best to you, DTM Eliza, and I'll hand over back to the team or to introduce the title of the speech. Over to you.
DTM Eliza, do you want to do a quick audio and a video check?
Check.
Oh, perfect, I can hear you. DTM Eliza, invisible leader, DTM Eliza.
I read an email from someone on a Saturday night, and that message said, I'm looking forward for your speech about India next Monday. I was looking for her during the meeting on that Monday. Where is Twyla? Where is Twyla? Why he didn't come? And the meeting ended. I did my speech, and still I cannot find Twyla. By the end of Monday, I'm looking for her still, and still I'm looking. I try to call her, I try to message her, and I cannot find you. On Tuesday, I call her daughter. Where is Twyla? How is she? Because I tried to find her, and only to know that she passed away that night. Fellow Toastmasters, how many of you feel the pain of losing someone that you really think as your leader, as your mentor? I believe many of us feel the pain. Twyla is not only a mentor. She is an 85 years old lady, but she have a very high energy, 95 horse energy. She can speak fast. She is taking all the roles in all the clubs, and she is belong to 15 clubs. One day I asked her, why you need to be a member of 15 clubs and 10 of the club is actually dying? And why don't we just combine the club to be together and you don't have to waste your money to be the member for this 15 club? And she told me, nah, Eliza, you know, all the people have their own priority, they have their own time, they have their own personality, which this club and that club cannot be together. Some people cannot come for Tuesday and some people cannot come for Wednesday. So I need to be in that club to make sure that everyone can attend the Toastmaster meeting. And I need to make sure that the club is still on to give the chance for everyone to give their speak in that club. Can you just imagine how many of you is actually a member of more than 3 clubs? And how many of you are actually making noise when the fee is increased from 45 to 60? But this is not happened to Twyla, because for Twyla, serving the people is number one. One day, Twyla told me, how many DTM that you had? I told her, I had 2. And I asked her back, how many DTMs you have? Oh, I only have 1 in my 20 years of my journey. And she is an area director, division director. The last one is the district admin manager. And I asked her, why you don't want to go for another DTM? Well, why I need to do DTM? I am an invisible leader. I don't need all the titles to serve people. And I don't need so many things that I need to do just to impress others, just having with that title. I look at her, oh, it's true also. She never fight for any DTMs or anything. But she will always come for all the 15 clubs meeting without fail. She is staying in California, but she is go around the world in Japan, Ukraine, Singapore, Saudi Arabia, and automatically is also in USA. But she never complained. Every time you call her, she will say, yes, I will do. She is 85 years old and actually having a pneumonia. She was sick, but she doesn't want to be alone in her room. And she don't mind to tell people that I'm not looking great to be in front of all of you in Zoom. She is still coming to the Toastmaster meeting even from her hospital bed after her surgery, just to tell people that continue learning, continue the journey. Toastmaster can bring something to you. And she just want to make sure that all the family in Toastmaster are there for her. She is a person that never give up. And she always think that to all the people, she try to give an effect and impact to most of the people, not only in Toastmaster, but also in her social media. She know me as a good friend, but she also good to interact with my other friend that actually is not her friend. She keep on giving an emoji message and give a little comments in people's Facebook just to make sure that people are happy with the something that they are putting in the Facebook. Celebrating people, feeling sad with all the people, whatever they are putting in Facebook. When somebody say a happy birthday, she also will celebrate with you. When people say I'm sad, she will say move on. For her, achievement, title, how many paths that you already finished, how many speeches that you already made. But as long as you are not giving back to people, it's nothing for her. What she wants is even a little thing, what you did to the people is always give an impact to the rest of the world. when she passed away, not only her friend is sad, but the friend of her friend is also miss her. Miss from her comments, miss from her emojis. Just to see her smiling face is something that we are going to miss. She is someone that we call invisible leaders. She is nowhere to be seen. We only met her in Zoom. But her impact, her legend, and also her teach, her thought that teach us many things is always stay with us. Her legacy is still with us. So, my fellow Toastmasters, what do you want to do in your life? Do you want to do all the good things that you want and never leave an impact? Or you want to do something that can give an impact to the world? Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Eliza, for sharing your personal story. And I really like the ending. How do you want to leave the world? I believe we all need to make some impact. Thank you for sharing your story. We'll go ahead and invite the next speaker. I would just like to let Dr. Stephen and Eddie Mary know that their speakers are not yet here, and they hopefully they will join a bit later. So I'll just go ahead and invite the next speaker, that is Toastmaster Karthik, to present his speech. Toastmaster Karthik will be presenting a project from Pathways Persuasive Influence, and his speech would be evaluated by Toastmaster Arvind. So I would like to go ahead and invite Toastmaster Arvind to read out the speech objectives for Toastmaster Karthik. Arvind, can you share the speech objective for your target speaker? Arvind, can you read out the speech objective for your target speaker? Am I audible? Or did
Yes,
I?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you please go ahead and read out the speech objectives for Karthik?
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I thought he's speaker number 4. So did we
Yeah.
skip? Oh,
So speaker two and speaker three are not here. So we are just going ahead with the next speaker. That's speaker 4.
okay. My apology for that. Fellow Toastmasters, I am very much honored to introduce our speaker number 2, TM Kartik Kadabala, for level 2 introductions to TM mentoring. His speech title is Angels of My Life with speech length 5 to 7 minutes. His speech is about his time as a protege. And my fellow Toastmasters, let us all welcome TM Kartik for his speech. TM Kartik, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Arvind. Is my audio and video good?
Yep,
Okay.
you're audible.
What is that one thing that every mentor should give his or her mentee? I repeat, what is that one thing that every mentor should give his or her mentee? With this question, I invite fellow Toastmasters, guests, everyone to this awesome, wonderful platform, Toastmasters for Professionals. Angels come to your life in a right time. I'm a type of person who wish to become an entrepreneur in after completion of my graduation. I dreamed so much to become, but I don't know how to do that. What I'm passionate about. At this point of time, my life sent me an angel by name my daughter Mehernosh, who is an international NLP coach. This coach helped me to identify my passion and my work of what to do by using simply Ikigai technique. He helped me to identify, to go through into my life in my journey from my childhood to present, to identify what I'm good at, what I'm bad at, by connecting with all my relatives, friends, and my well-wishers. With this help of my mentor, Mahernosh, the angel, first angel of my life, I identified what I am passionate about and what world wants. Now again I felt stuck. Of now I know my passion, now what to do, how to start my own business. Unfortunately, none of my family members are into this field of business. All are government servants from couple of generations. So I don't know how to start and where to start. I'm more worried about instead of upscale my career, it should not be downscale. This is the only thing that scared me to start to take my first step in my career. And this world shares and second angel in my life, that is Pawan Butthead. The journey of this Pawan Butthead and me is very vast. In a long story short, while I'm so much interested in reading books, I found one advertisement how to read 100 books. At that point of time, when I attended this person workshop, I strongly decided myself to start working with this person, not only to just learn with this person. A couple of interactions has done, our interviews, everything has done. Now he accepted me to become his mentee. My journey with Pawn Butter started from mentee to the employee. Now we are officially partners in in our business. Spawn Butter is a Marwati and he had a very good decade of very good experience in running business. In India, we know how Marwadis are very good in doing their businesses. So life again sent me this angel in my life to grow and grow in my journey. I started my first step and Pawn Butter and Mehernos combinedly helped me by hand holding in my journey to start my business and my journey to become an entrepreneur. Again, I found so many difficulties. I've figured out what are the things which I'm lagging, what are the things which I'm good at. One of the most major thing is I'm lagging in my English, in a public speaking. My mentor sent me, suggested me to join this wonderful platform of Toastmasters. In this platform, I am again stuck. I paid my fees of for 6 months. I attended only 2 meetings in this wonderful workshop. I'm very scared to become part. I'm very scared to start my meeting, to start my speeches. And then at the right time, again, Sri has messaged me, Karthik, you have to attend this meeting. On this same day, I saw Mary Thomas ma'am's speech. I felt when I was watching her speech, I'm so connected and wanted this type of person to be again my mentor in this Toastmaster journey. Again, same thing happened. I feel like one more angel came into my life. I connected with Mary Thomas and she readily accepted and she literally handhold in my journey whenever I feel stuck in this Toastmaster, whenever I felt any technical issue, mainly mindset issue of giving that confidence, getting that confidence to give a speech. What is the thing which I'm lagging in? She every time after every speech, though she is very busy in her daily schedule, she give her time to help me in my personal and professional growth. So fellow Toastmasters, I request you all and I suggest you all to have a mentor in your life who can help you to give that decade experience, more than a decade experience, so that your life will be so awesome and to achieve whatever you want in your life. Back to my question. What is that one thing that is common each mentor gave to me in my life? Any answers? Yes, confidence. Confidence is the one thing that every mentor should give his or her mentee. Confidence is the only thing that can helps your mentee to go travel in your journey, in their journey, achieving the goals. Except that nothing can help. Okay. With this, I hand over to Shreyas Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Karthik, for sharing your mentorship journey and sharing the lessons that you had with respect to your Toastmasters path. I forgot to mention that Toastmaster Karthik was delivering a project from Persuasive Influence. The projects on this path focus on how to negotiate a positive outcome together with building a strong interpersonal communication and public speaking skills. So I'm hoping as Toastmaster Karthik works on the different levels across this particular pathway, he will be able to achieve his personal goal on how to positively influence and turn the tide towards his side. Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Rajat for his next speech. Toastmaster Rajat's speech would be evaluated by DTM wins. This is a project from Dynamic Leadership. Toastmaster wins, can you please go ahead and introduce the project objectives for our target speaker, Toastmaster Rajat?
I would be happy to. Thank you, Toastmasters. Fellow Toastmasters and guests from all over the globe, I have the pleasure of evaluating Toastmaster, I'm going to pronounce your name wrong, I apologize, Ragat. He is delivering a pathway dynamic leadership, level 1, project 3. It is the intro to vocal variety and body language. The purpose of this project is for Toastmaster Gupta to practice using vocal variety and or body language to enhance a speech. Toastmaster, did you want me to introduce this title or are you going to do that?
You can go ahead and introduce. I believe that is the new format, so let's try to do that. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So the title of Toastmaster Gupta's speech is An Unexpected Detour. An Unexpected Detour, Toastmaster Gupta.
Thank you very much. Am I audible? I believe. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you very much, Toastmaster Vince and Toastmaster Sias. And good morning, good afternoon, everybody, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I heard somewhere a touching line which says, "Beauty of life lies in unexpected detour." I realized this when I went for my first out of state trip with my 3 college buddies. We just finished our first year of college and we had some money left in our scholarship account. However, as it happens among group of friends, always making plans to go somewhere but rarely executing, we also had the same legacy. But this time we were not gonna repeat the history. We instead of planning this time, we decided to go the very next day itself. We were so determined this time that we stood whole night in a queue to book our urgent train tickets. That trip was to visit one of the most revered pilgrims in India called Vaishno Devi. It is located up in the mountain in the pristine state of Jammu and Kashmir. One needs to trek 14 kilometers from ground to reach the actual temple site. Our excitement, we were so excited that this excitement led us to reach the train station 1 hour before the scheduled departure. After completing 24-hour long train journey, we finally reached our destination. We quickly went to our hotel room, put our bags, and stood in another queue to collect our entry tickets. These tickets are checked by army officers to verify the identity of visitors. Finally, everything was set and we were very excited to move ahead. However, things took an unexpected turn. When we were showing our tickets to army officers, we saw that a group of 4 girls were arguing with one of the security officers to seek entry without entry tickets. The army officer had already prohibited them from entering. However, as we entered, a girl from that group called us, "Guys, can you give us your tickets? We thought we already got our entry. What could be the harm? So we decided to hand over our tickets to them. However, as soon as the 6 feet army guy saw our tickets on their hand, he got furious. He turned his head to her and asked her, hey girls, from where you got these tickets? The same girl pointed a finger at us. From them, sir. And the army guy turned his head to us and called, come here, guys. Don't you understand? It is the matter of national security. You all going to be booked. We were frightened. We were stood there wondering what could happen next. At that time, one of his colleague and another security officer came to us and whispered, guys, if you don't want to get into further trouble, run away now. As soon as we heard those words, we sprinted away from that place and went to our hotel room. Now we were wondering, what should we do now? We don't have enough money, and if we return home, all the efforts and money would be wasted. So we decided to move ahead and visit places with whatever money we left with. We went to visit Srinagar, a place 400 kilometers away from the temple location. There, we visited Dal Lake, we visited houseboats. In Jammu and Kashmir, local people call these houseboats Sikara. We went to visit tulip gardens, rock gardens. We even went 100 kilometers up in the mountains to see snow-laden, mesmerizing mountain peaks of Gulmarg. We returned and they even went to temple as well. Though at that time we were eating only one plate of noodles in whole day and were living in cramped rooms. We visited places we only thought of in our imagination or watched in Bollywood movies. So today, as I reflect on this journey, I realize that if God had not planned this detour for us, we would have never gone to places that made that trip particularly memorable for my whole life. So, guys, today I can only conclude that don't be afraid of detours in your life. Instead, welcome them. Over to you, Toastmasters here. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajat, for sharing your journey. And I hope you had a lesson learned to like when should you try share your railway tickets with others too. Okay.
Definitely.
So Toastmaster Rajat was presenting a project from his dynamic leadership path. And this path focuses on understanding leadership and communication style and the effects of a conflict when it comes in. Next, we have our President Toastmaster Catherine, who would be presenting a speech from the Innovative Planning Pathways. This is a level 5 project, which means it is the last level for a given pathway. Evaluating Toastmaster Catherine's speech is Toastmaster Mary. I would now like to call upon her evaluator to share her speech objectives. Toastmaster Mary.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. Welcome. I have the honor of evaluating our club president, Catherine, and she is speaking from Innovative Planning. It's a level 5 speech, and the time on that is 10 to 12 minutes. She will be reflecting on her path, and in doing so, she will share with us what happened in the completion of her innovative planning path. And she starts out by the title. The title of her speech is Innovative Planning. Really? Catherine, you have the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Toastmaster, do you want me to go ahead?
Thank you.
How many of you struggle with being multitasked or multi-talented or having more than one skill? By show of hands, physical hands. Thank you. Thank you. Toastmasters and guests. If you really want to grow in your role as a leader, in your role as a worker, in your role as a champion who is multi-talented, multitasked, there is no other path than the path innovative planning. I started this path in the year 2019, admittedly, very, very negative. I had just completed my competent communication level 10 in the old program, and I was feeling accomplished. I didn't see the need to take on a new path, let alone just introduce myself again to the club. And this happened when I titled my speech, The Making of a Warrior. I took humble pie. I got a new mentor and started something so difficult. I found the preparation boring, lengthy, tedious. Shortly after, the world was locked down when the COVID-19 pandemic hit all of us. And there, the hats started to fall over my head. I had to think. I had to create. I seemed like I had so much time, but I also seemed like there was a lot to accomplish. For some reason, out of the traffic, out of the noise, out of the commute, out of so much, I had so much reflection. It came to my mind that I'm one of those, just like you, multi-talented, multitasked, multi-ambitious. Here I was, having to produce 3 speeches. The first was when leaders step up to the plate. That speech was about when our president, the president of Uganda, took to the screens to dictate and show us how we can demonstrate our leadership when locked down. So this is what our president did. He demonstrated by doing a few workouts in his own room, filmed by his crew. I had never seen a president do more than 20, 30 press-ups. This man was fit. I found it admirable. He showed us that we can work out in our homes. He showed us that we could exercise in our homes. When leaders step up to the plate, I never knew I would come up with a speech like that one. Then I thought about 2 other speeches. The other was discovering who I really was created to be, a woman, not just physical. Yes, this is pretty, but it's more than this. I wrote the speech based on a subject I had been studying through friends, a topic called Ezra, Unveiling the Woman Within. It helped me to reflect on just my journey, but it helped me to pay attention to my 2 teenage daughters. Toastmasters and guests, I do not know where you're at in your leadership, but talk about innovative planning. Really? Just giving speeches? Let's move on. I continued to give several other speeches, like the good, the bad, and the ugly, making a proposal to so many actors, civil society organizations, to fight the evil of child marriage and teenage pregnancy in our communities. So remember, while the world was locked down, my country decided to close schools for 2 years. Communities in the rural areas thought it best to marry off their young girls. I had to make some noise about it. I used my speech, and guess what? I had some other tools where I looked down. I learned how to blog. I learned how to use the internet better. I learned how to integrate Instagram, Facebook. I learned how to use my posts to make good noise. You know what it led to? It led to a webinar. It led to a webinar that brought stakeholders from all over the eastern part of Africa. It led to a webinar that caused me to come and provide research-based information. It opened doors for me. Talk about innovative planning. Really, that is what it was. But let me ask you something, Toastmasters and guests. When you're given an opportunity like we have to become a part of a leadership crew like Toastmasters, what and how do you handle it? Are we really just going through the motions? Is it becoming a part and parcel of who you really are? Is it playing out in your home, in your community? Can I share very, very, very basic secrets? I learned from innovative planning that it was pulling out a lot more than my money's worth. Talk about innovative thinking. A few months after that season, I was transitioning with my family to a new world. I had to think innovatively. Talk about leading in 2 clubs. I never knew I would belong to more than one club, but thank God for the internet that we can now meet. I get to know people from all over the world. This is only possible in a pathway like innovative planning. Really? Perhaps. As a parent, when I had the opportunity to persuade my teenagers to leave their home, to leave the familiar, to take on new schools, I had to apply innovative persuasion. Innovative planning. Really? Talk about the strategies and the execution that I have had to apply when I started a new brand away from home called Afri Lamps. I had to execute using innovative strategies and execution. Harnessing the multi-skills, monetizing them, and helping you and I connect innovative connections. I believe that this path has given me more than my money's worth. Toastmasters and guests, innovative planning. Really? Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Catherine. That was indeed a very good summarization with real life examples. So this will basically serve as a reminder for me and others here that how Masters helps us become a better version of ourselves. Now that we had to cancel it, I go ahead and formally ask the assigned evaluators to come up and share their feedback to the speakers. I would just like to open the floor for a few minutes and let others share their feedback on today's speeches that they have heard from their perspective. It may not follow the Toastmasters objectives, but what they found that was good and what you think that can be improved. So I'd just like to open the floor for a few minutes and to just have a general round of feedback for our speakers. And post that, we'll go with the formal evaluation sessions. Anyone who would like to give their thought on the speeches? Yes, Toastmaster Christine, please go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on last speaker, Catherine. I thought she did a a fantastic job of showing the different, like, this is my belief in what I saw so far today. I think she was the only one who had her notes on the side of her speech, versus a lot of other people looked like they were reading their speech. So when she was speaking to us, to me, it felt like she was speaking to me. And I thought she had like amazing eye contact because she was actually looking at the camera when she was speaking. And when she wanted to look at her notes, it looked like she was looking aside and then back to me. Versus the people who were reading their speech, they never really looked at me because they were reading their notes. And I just thought, because she was doing that when she was talking to the camera, she was talking to us, and her passion, in my opinion, was very authentic, was palpable. So I just thought it was a really good example of the power of making eye contact, not just so the audience feels it, but so the speaker also feels it. That was just my impression. Thank you so much. Great speeches for everybody.
Thank you, Toastmaster Catherine, for sharing that thought. And I think it is really important that we make eye contact when we communicate with others. Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to share their thoughts or share their feedback to the speakers? No one else? Okay. So in that case, we will go ahead and start off with our formal evaluation session. We had our first speech by DTM Eliza, and evaluating DTM Eliza's speech is Toastmaster Brinda. Toastmaster Brinda, over to you.
Thank you, Shrihas. And firstly, congratulations, DTM Eliza. That was a very inspirational speech. And it was so relatable. It reminds me about these flowers. If you can see these beautiful flowers, these flowers are going to fade away after a few days. But what will be etched in my memory is their beautiful color and the reminder of spring that's coming soon. And finally, we could bid farewell to this winter out here. So that's what it is about your speech and your storytelling about DTM Twyla. You started with how you missed Twyla and how you started looking for her. And that's typically what happens to anybody who has been a mentor in your life, who's been a leader in your life, that they're very inspirational and then they suddenly drop away. But what continues is their legacy. And that was the core message, I think, that you tried to translate to us, Toastmasters out here, as to what are we looking for? What should be our legacy? What needs to be our journey in Toastmasters? Are we here to attend meetings upon meetings, hopping into various Zoom sessions, getting various DTMs, or leaving a legacy, teaching others, helping others, and bring that kind heart that you mentioned about Twyla? To me, what mattered was the passion with which you spoke. You gave us some important messages, such as leave a legacy. Your ending, especially. How do you want to leave this world? Do you want to leave a legacy? Or you want to be remembered for the number of DTMs and the titles you carried, without touching anybody's heart? Specifically, you mentioned that for Twyla, it didn't matter how many DTMs she had. She just had one DTM in 20 years, but she had so many titles. So I got great things to talk about. But if I had to point out a few changes or challenges for your consideration, the one thing would be, I really want to challenge you to spread this message across, because there are several Toastmasters across the world who might benefit from this message of which path they should take. And it could be even in the personal lives. What kind of a leader you want to be? Do you want to be a leader who is impactful, or you want to be a leader who is dictator and who is not, who's just self-centered? So those are a few things that I would like to challenge you with. Keep spreading the message, and Twyla would live through all through with us, with Toastmasters, through her stories and through her legacy. So thank you for sharing that story. and wish you all the best for future. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vrinda. Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Arvind to share his feedback for Toastmaster Karthik.
Hello, Toastmaster Kartik. First off, congratulations to your speech. And I do like the message that everybody needs a mentor or mentors to help us get what we want in life. And you started by telling us a story which I love. The audience loved the story. It's easy to remember. The idea, the flow of it is easy to follow. I like your passion. I can feel the excitement, the enthusiasm in sharing with us your experience with your mentees, with the different angels in your life. You're very confident when you deliver your speech. I didn't feel any level of nervousness when you did that. It was the result of enough preparation and practice, and congratulations for that. And for the other good points that I have observed when you delivered your speech is that you had this good eye contact to connect with the audience. You were standing. Your hand gesture was very visible. That helped to give emphasis to the message that you want us to hear. And you have mentioned about this ikigai, the reason for being that had helped you to know who you are, to know what you are passionate about. And I was waiting for the information with regards to the business that you have started and what have you learned from it. And as for the mentorship of Dr. Mary, I was waiting for you to share with us the things that she did and told you to help you develop your self-confidence. You may include this in the content of your message to add more details. In summary, you are a good storyteller, very effective, powerful speaker, and if you may consider my suggestions to further improve the content of your message, that will be nice. It's just a suggestion. And I'm looking forward to listen to more of your speeches. Congratulations and very inspirational. Thank you so much. Back to you, our
Thank you.
team of the
Thank you
day.
thank you, Toastmaster Arvind, for sharing your valuable suggestions to Karthik. Next, I would like to invite DTM Vince to share his feedback for Toastmaster Rajat's unexpected detour.
Thank you,
Toastmaster Vince.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and Toastmaster Gupta. So where to begin? We all know a speech should have an opening, a body, and a closing. So the opening needs to grab your attention and pull you in. I was already pulled in because of the title, An Unexpected Detour. How many times are we driving somewhere, we're going somewhere, and all of a sudden a detour comes to play? You weren't expecting it, it just came out of the blue, and you're like, oh, man, what am I gonna, and this day and age, you just punch in the GPS. There used to be a time where you didn't have GPS on your phone, you'd have to figure it out on your own. You're very conversational. I enjoyed the conversation. It felt like you were just talking to us. It didn't feel like a speech. And you were taking us in different directions. The object, again, was using vocal variety and body language. So you were using your hands. There were certain areas during your speech where you were, I don't want to say imitating, but you were role playing. So you kept, you would look this way and then you would look that way. I would say to add to that, maybe change the pitch of your vocal variety a little bit, just to give us a little bit more, just to add to the narrative. I loved when, well, first of all, with the 6th Army guys, when they approached you, me personally, I'd been like, take me away now, because I'd be scared I would be like, I'm done. But you handled it rather well. It's kind of funny. It's kind of comical. What I loved is when you leaned into the camera to imitate one of the Army officers. So to me, that gave it more of a dramatic effect that you leaned in. I was like that. I'm like, oh man, this guy, because as an authoritative figure, someone who leans in, it gives more of an authoritative presence, and it brings the point home. A couple deltas. Something it's hard with Zoom, totally hard with Zoom versus being in person. What I would like to do, if you think about it, you're confined to this little box. But with vocal variety and body language, think about maybe standing up and walking around a little bit. Now, that comes with a downfall, if you will. If you don't have a good microphone or a headset, your audio is going to be out. But I would encourage you maybe for vocal, for body language, stand up a little bit or back up a little bit so we can see your hands. We did see your hands, but I'm a firm, I like the idea of standing up and walking around a little bit more just to get that more vocal variety going. Again, you have to be cautious because if you don't have a microphone or if you're far away from the microphone on the computer, your audio is going to fade in and out. As I had said earlier, an opening, a body, and a closing. To me, every speech needs to have a call to action. I loved your call to action. Don't be afraid of detours in your life. Instead, welcome them. That's wonderful because a lot of people, if you look at a detour, you start to panic, you start to worry. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Take that detour, embrace it, and to your speech, always think of the positive. Think of a positive. I absolutely loved your call to action. So that was a wonderful speech. And again, it had me hooked on the title of An Unexpected Detour. Again, your hand gestures were wonderful. Work on the vocal variety a little bit, but I think that can come a little bit easier if you were to stand up. But outside of that, you hit the nail on the head. Nice job.
Thank you, DTMs, for sharing your valuable suggestions. Next, I would like to call upon Toastmaster DeMarie to share her feedback for Toastmaster Catherine's speech.
Thank you very much, Shihas. Toastmaster Catherine, oh my goodness. You captivated us with a question at the very beginning, but you did what a lot of people don't do when they ask a question. You followed up by saying, let me see a show of hands. Because if you ask the question, it may just be hanging suspended. But when you ask for a show of hands, you've actually engaged the audience. I thought that was great. I also love the fact that you used your title as a device throughout the speech. You used it as a rhetorical question that you asked throughout the speech. Innovative planning, really? And at the moment that you used it, we as the audience were able to say, well, of course, that worked. You went on to describe 3 specific speeches and 3 distinct situations that occurred as a result of that. But you told us about COVID and the pandemic and the fact that everybody had to change what their strategy was. And innovative planning worked for you because you found out that you could sit from home by looking at your boss who learned how to exercise because he couldn't get out and go to the gym, but he was able to exercise at home and still get his routines in. You hadn't thought about that. And then you talked about the unveiling of a woman, which gave you a cause. And you realized that you were so passionate, you began to blog. And you also knew that the internet was something that was able to help you on your journey. And you also made use and found that you had a voice and that gave you your platform. Innovative planning, really? Then you talked about the fact that Toastmasters is a leadership crew. Everybody works to help the other person. And if we just simply understand that we have to plan in order to make anything come to fruition, you were able to use innovative planning to help you as a multitasker. And you also pointed out that if the audience is someone who is a multitasker, then innovative planning is a must. Your call to action was, how do you handle it when you have multiple tasks that you want to do? You also pointed out that innovative planning helps you to make better connections, and you got your money's worth because it taught you so many things. If I were to offer a challenge to you, I would say to stand. You were passionate, good facial movements, good eye contact, and vocal variety. But by standing, you command the space and you command the audience's attention. And also, I would say, if I had to give another suggestion, practice your speech before you give it in front of the audience, and you'll know about the timing. Overall, wonderful speech. I loved your passion, but I always do because you put yourself into what you're saying. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mary, for this, for sharing your valuable suggestions. Okay, so now we are at the end of our planned agenda meet, and we do have some time. So what I would like to do is I'll go back to the open floor concept. So we had our speakers. Now the speakers have their evaluation and they have heard other evaluators. So if there is anyone who would like to share what they learned today, please come forward and share your thoughts. Any speaker or evaluator who would like to share their thoughts? Yes, and please go ahead and you can unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. So I'm a guest, but I'm also a Toastmaster. I'm a very shy Toastmaster. So I'm just that's why I didn't step up the first time, but I'm gonna say some points now. I love speechathons. I love hearing all the different speeches and the different speakers. I thought you guys all did a really amazing job. If I can give just like 1 point to everybody, that's what I'm gonna do. So for Eliza, I liked your speech. I really enjoyed what you had to say. I would just watch my tenses when you're speaking, as opposed to, when to say was and is. Just think about past tense when you're talking about your topic. And I really liked I thought everyone had an amazing call to action for all the speeches. So I thought you guys did a great job with that. The second speaker, who's Kartik, I think is how you say his name. I just want to say that I thought you were very personable and very likable. When you started talking right away, I was just like, oh, he's such a great speaker. I love his smile. I was really brought into what you were saying. If I had to give you 1 point to go on, I would say just slow down a little bit and maybe breathe more, because I thought you were kind of speaking a little bit quickly, so I couldn't catch everything you were saying, but I was drawn in by your face and by your speaking. I was like, I want to hear what you have to say. So a great job. And I did also like your call to action for mentors. For the third speaker, Rajat, I would have to say that just as mentioned by your evaluator events, that you had great hand movements, that I would just make sure you're using your movements when it's appropriate, because your hands I thought were moving around a lot at the bottom of the screen. So just make sure you're using it when it's appropriate. One point you mentioned about climbing a mountain. You could have said, oh, climbing a mountain, but you didn't. You just sort of said climbed a mountain. And so I just think be aware of when you're using your hand movements. But I also, again, like the call to action to embrace the detours, because some people are very afraid of detours, and like myself, to do something that's not the norm, I'm like, I don't want to do it. But Christine made me do it, so I'm doing it. For the fourth speaker, who is Catherine, again, I thought you were an amazing speaker. I really liked what you had to say. I loved your energy. One point that I would give you is to maybe move back, because right now you're just a floating head. And honestly, your shirt, because it's white, it was mending into the background, so you were just floating. So move back a bit so you're not so close to the camera. And someone had said to practice, I think your evaluator said practice your speech. That goes to everybody. If you go to, I think it's called Yodi on Toastmasters website, where you can tape yourself and it gives you points. If you haven't used it, I would suggest you use it. It's a great tool, and it helps you with what you have to say. And if you're repeating words, better words to use, timing, and also how you're sitting on the screen. So definitely, I would suggest everyone to check that out. But I had fun. It was a great meeting. I love speechathons. I love hearing the different speakers. So I'm glad that I came to this meeting. And I'm glad Christine invited me to be here tonight. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you so much. If there are any guests who are joining us for the very first time, I'd like to let you know that we have a guest group where we keep posting our meeting updates. Just share your contact details with me through Zoom chat and I'll get you added to that chat group. Anyone else who would like to take the spotlight for a minute or so to share feedback? Okay. So now I would like to invite our timer for the day to share his timing report. Toastmaster Guillermo, please share your timing report.
Yes. I really enjoyed today's speeches and evaluations. Thank you to everyone who spoke. Here we have the times. For the speeches, Elisa spoke for 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Karthik, 6 minutes and 5 seconds. Rajat, 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Catherine, 8 minutes and 35 seconds. And for the evaluations, Brunda spoke for 3 minutes. Arvin, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Vince, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. DeMarie, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. That concludes my report. Back to you, Toastmaster Shikas.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Guillermo. Now I would just like to hand over the control to our presiding officer, our president, Toastmaster Catherine, to go ahead with the next set of formalities and then close. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Can we give a round of applause to our Toastmaster Shihas for running a successful speakathon? Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shihas. I would like to make special mention of our guests today, Mitrunjay Upadhyaya, Vince Kennedy, Christine Scalon, and Antoinette Young. You are most welcome to join us this meeting. I would like to ask you kindly to let us know, speak to us, and let us know how you enjoyed this meeting, and we would like to get to know you a little bit more. Please go ahead and unmute yourselves and speak to us. Vince, Antoinette, Christine.
So this is a fun meeting. I know. I mean, excuse me. I met Mary and yourself under unfortunate circumstances a couple of weeks ago, but she had asked me to join, and her and I had been communicating. And I was like, absolutely, I'd love to help out, or I'd love to join and zoom in, because the time zone is, even though it's kind of crazy, it's an interesting group because you got people from California. It's global. You have everybody from everywhere. And it's enjoyable. So my home club, I meet once a month, and that's the first Wednesday of each month. And while it's a fun club, it's a love the club. We actually meet physically, which is cool. It's once a month. So when Mary had asked me to jump in here, I'm like, absolutely. And then she asked me for a role. I was like, absolutely, put me wherever you need me at. And it's an enjoyable club. Everyone is just very encouraging. I definitely will be back. I believe it's going to be in 2 weeks, right? But I appreciate you guys letting me zoom in, and sorry for being kind of quiet, but this is a lot of fun. But like I said, kind of behind the scenes, I was paying attention to the text messages on WhatsApp and as the game plan, if you will.
Thank you so much, Vince. Anybody else? Antoinette, Christine?
Thank you so much for having me. Tony and I, or Antoinette, as she's posted her name. I know I always call her Tony, but we were in a club that met in person pre-COVID, and it didn't survive post-COVID online. It struggled for a couple of years and finally collapsed, basically. So her and I have been both looking at other clubs and inviting each other to the ones that we have found that we might want to try out. So this was one that I had found that I would like to try out. And it was fun to come to a speechathon, or speakathon, as you call it. Some interesting speeches. Hard to understand from this visit, obviously, what a regular meeting would be like for you. But it was still very enjoyable. And thank you so much. And I enjoyed myself very much.
Thank you so much, Christine. Antoinette.
Thank you for letting me speak again. Yeah, like I said before, it was a great meeting. I love the speechathon format. So for me, this was really enjoyable to hear the different speeches. And yeah, that's it. I had a great time, and I definitely would like to come back and see what a regular meeting would be like. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antoinette. Upadhyaya, can you please speak to us? Upadhyaya? Thank you.
Hi, Catherine. It was my first online Toastmaster meeting today, and it was my first step to speak a lot. Actually, I feel very shy to speak in English language. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Upadhyaya. Please come and visit us again and reach out to any one of us. We can help, we can connect you, and you will enjoy this club. Please come again. Mrityunjay Kumar, please speak to us. Mrityunjay,
Hi.
are you there?
Hey,
Yeah.
yes, I am here. Hi, everyone. It was my first meeting I have attended online, but I found like it like very important to be a part of this club because I learned lots of things, not only in communication skill improvement, but on behind that it's a leadership, thought process, and something that everybody should think about that perspective. So it's not only improve the communication, it's also having the leadership. So I'm very, fond of today because I have invested my time in somewhere that it has given me different uh, things that I can think again in my off when I go offline, and I will try to participate more, and I will try to make myself available for this club, and I will take membership as well. So that's my thought for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrityunjay. I would like to thank in a special way world takers who are also guests, Vince Graniti and Arvin Pareno. Thank you so much for choosing to take up roles. We would like to encourage you to come again. And also, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Nur Mohammed. Nur, thank you for coming in and you did make it. We thank you even then. And I would like to thank all of you for coming to this meeting. If we have any announcements from our Vice President Education and Vice President Membership, do you have any announcements for us before we conclude? Dr. Mary, are you there? Do you have any announcements, or Vice President Public Relations, do you have any announcements for us?
No, I believe we are good. But as you had stated earlier in the day, that membership renewals are due. So members are requested to go ahead and pay in and renew their membership. And I will be reaching out to each of you through a direct message through later today.
Thank you so much, Shihas. Thank you so much. Toastmasters and guests, thank you so much for making this meeting such a beautiful one. I would like to encourage us to come in again for the next meeting. Look out for the next meeting. Our next meeting is in the next week, isn't it? I hope I'm right, Shihas. We have two meetings every month. And so please look out for the announcements. You are most welcome. Thank you once again for coming. And I hope you do have a productive week. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.